Hi, hello everyone. Very good evening, one and all. Welcome to the most comprehensive preparation platform for all competitive exams, BYJU'S Exam Prep. And warm welcome to the GATE 2024 Fundamental Series. Join the session quickly. Today, we are going to learn about two-dimensional arrays of C programming. In the last class, we have already programmed for 5 very usual popular problems on one-dimensional arrays that included how to find the maximum element of the array, how to find the smallest element of the array, finding sum of all elements, and merging two arrays into one array. How we can do that, we have seen, right? So join the session quickly. I am Satya, welcoming you all. Whoever have joined, please confirm my visibility and audibility. Am I visible and audible to you clearly or not? Once you confirm, we will start. Everybody, am I visible and audible? So, is all okay to start learning of 2D arrays in C? Let me introduce myself quickly before I start. I am Satya, research scholar with 15 plus years of teaching experience and all the other credentials you can find. Guys, there is a free workshop for 2024 GATE aspirants by All India rank 12 holder Mr. Rashal Chotani on 7th May at 12:30 p.m. He will be sharing what strategy he followed to get 12th AIR in first attempt. So this would be very useful if you are a GATE 2024 aspirant. Register for this workshop and attend this workshop without fail on May 7th, 12:30 p.m. Okay. So in the last class, 5 useful programs of one-dimensional arrays we have learned. They are finding the biggest element of 1D array, finding the smallest element of 1D array, and how we can find sum of all elements of 1D array, and how to merge two arrays into one single array without sorting, and how we can delete an element from the given position. These 5 programs we have seen. I hope everybody learned the logic. I told you, don't mug up the code, guys. Try to understand the logic. Once you understand the logic, you can write the code using any language, not only C. Because language to language syntax differ, but logic remains same. So try to understand how we are solving these problems. Accordingly, how it turned into code. Okay, that is the way to learn. All right. So what we are going to learn today? We are going to learn about two-dimensional array declaration, initialization, and what is the difference between row major order and column major order, and how we can give dynamic input for 2D array, also how we can print two-dimensional array, and couple of matrix programs which are of 2D arrays. So this is what we are going to learn today, dear friends. Please feel free to interrupt me at any time and ask your doubts. And if you have any doubts while watching this later, not the live, you can keep your doubts in the comment section. I would be happy to answer them. Okay? Chalo. So first, how we can declare two-dimensional array, means how we can create two-dimensional array in the program. The syntax for creating two-dimensional array is data type, array name, as I said, the number of subscripts define the dimension. We have to use two subscripts. Subscript means open square bracket, closed square bracket. A pair of open and closed square brackets is what we call as subscript. How many subscripts? Those many dimensions. As we say, 2D array, 2 subscripts. 3D array, 3 subscripts. 10D array, 10 subscripts, and so on. So in the 2D array, 2 subscripts, what you have to mention in those 2 subscripts? How many rows, how many columns. Rows, columns is what the general terms we use for the 2 dimensions. Generally, when you take 2 dimensions, one is the horizontal dimension, other is the vertical dimension. We say horizontal dimension we usually call as a row, vertical dimension we usually call as a column. So how many rows and how many columns, that we have to mention. For example, you can see int x of 3, 4. So it's an integer array with 3 rows, 4 columns. That means total number of elements. How many? 3 rows, 4 columns. So that is 3 by 4, 12 elements. 12 integers we would like to create. You need not to use always int, guys. You can use any data type. So let's say char y of 4, 5. So total there are 4 by 5, 20 characters. Float z of 2 by 3. So total elements, how many we are having? 2 into 3, 6 real values. So the space gets allocated for 12 integers in the first example, for 20 characters in the second example, for 6 real numbers in the third example at consecutive location. That is what the advantage of array, isn't it? All right. Now, how we declared we have seen. Suppose I have declared int x of 3, 4. That means there are total 12 elements, 12 integers. Let one integer is taking 4 bytes space. So total 48 bytes. 12 into 4, 48 bytes space gets allocated at consecutive location. Internally, it is divided into 12. Okay, 4 bytes. Now, how to identify individual element in the array? We use index. If it is a one-dimensional array, we can say simply index. But it is a two-dimensional array. So we want 2 indices, horizontal index, vertical index. That means row index, column index. Any indexing starts with 0 by default, I said. So this would be 0, 0. This would be 0, 1. This would be 0, 2, 0, 3. So as there are 4 columns, the column numbering starts with 0 and ends with 3. So next row, first column means row 1, column 0, row 2, column 1, row 1, column 1, row 1, column 2, row 1, column 3. Then row 2 column 0, row 2 column 1, so on. So this is how the indices would be: row index, column index. Similarly, if I create char y of 4 by 5, that means there are total 20 characters. There are total 20 characters. One character we know takes 1 byte fixed in C language. So total 20 bytes space is allocated for this array at consecutive location. Total 20 bytes gets allocated. Internally, it is divided into 20 partitions. As usual, row numbering would be, row index, column index would be from 0. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 1, 0, 1, 1, and so on. And so on. Are we clear with this? How the memory is allocated? Based on the data type, based on the number of elements, that much memory gets allocated at consecutive location. Now, how to initialize the 2D array? How I can initialize? Initializing means how I can assign the values. You can initialize 2D array in two ways, even 1D array or 2D array. How? You can initialize all elements at once. You want to give all the values in one attempt, you can give. How? While creating an array, there itself you can give. See here, I have 2 rows, 3 columns, that means total 6 elements. So I am giving total 6 values at once. Here at this point you may get a doubt. Sir, what if I miss any value? They will be zeros. So if you initialize at least one value, remaining values would be zeros. If none is initialized, then garbage values. That too, for turbo compiler you will get garbage value. For online compiler it will take zeros only, even if none is initialized. Even if none is initialized. Okay? This is one way. No sir, I don't want to initialize all the values. I would like to give selected values. Then you can use the index. You can use the index. Suppose you have created an array of 2 rows, 3 columns. I would like to give only 2 values. Row 1, 2, column 2 value I would like to give 60. Row 0, column 1 value I would like to give 20. So only those 2 values. Like here, there are 2 rows, 3 columns. Row 0, column 1, row 1, column 0, column 1, column 2. 0, 0 value 10, 0, 1 value 20, 0, 2 value 30. Similarly, 40, 50, 60. For our understanding, I am showing in the matrix form. In the matrix form. Or you want to initialize selected elements, not all the values. Then only those will be assigned. So 1, 2 value would be 60, 0, 1 value would be 20. Other values by default would be zeros. Or you give some value, that value will be overwritten. Okay? Keep responding guys, make the session interactive. Are you able to follow this? And please remember one point. In the one-dimensional array, when you assign the values at the time of declaration, size I said optional. Based on the number of values, size is automatically understood by the compiler, I said. But in the two-dimensional array, you can omit what? Either number of rows or number of columns, but not both. but not both. You may mention 2 rows and leave number of columns. You who entered 6 values, 2 rows you said, so columns is understood as 3. Or you mentioned 3 columns, rows, number of rows you omitted. Then number of rows understood as 2. But if you omit both, 6 means 1 by 6 array, 6 by 1 array, 2 by 3 array, 3 by 2 array, multiple possibilities. So compiler can't decide how many rows, how many columns. That's why in the 2D array, either number of rows or number of columns need to be present. Both cannot be omitted. Okay, this is very important point. Please remember. Now, 2-dimensional array can be stored in the memory in either of the 2 ways. That is row major order, column major order. Row major order means row wise. Column major order means column wise. Let us say here I have taken 3 by 3 array. As you see in the diagram, I am taking 3 by 3 array. 3 rows, 3 columns. So it's row 0, row 1, row 2, column 0, column 1, column 2. First row values, this is the first row. As there are 9 elements, 9 elements required space is allocated, let us say from the address 2000. So the next element size is, let's say 2004. 4 bytes I am assuming. Let 4 bytes for one integer. So the next element address would be 2008. Next element address 2012, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, like this. So at what address what value will be stored? That is based on either row major or column major order. If it is a row major order, first row values are stored. So this is row 0. Then next row values, row 1. Then next row values, row 2. If it is a column major order, column wise the values are stored in the same locations. So 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, 2024, 2028, 2032 are the addresses. First column values are stored. Then second column values. Then third column values. So here you see the difference. Value 8, address is 2028 in row major order, 2020 in column major order. Isn't it? Value 3, address is 2008 in row major order, 2024 in column major order. So the addresses will change for the same value. However, C language follow row major order by default. Language like Fortran follow column major order. So as we are learning C language, you need not to worry about the column major. By default, row major order is followed. Means the row wise the values are stored. Okay, this is good to know that arrays have two options. But our C language follow row major order only. So no need to worry. Okay, because arrays is not the concept invented in only C language. Arrays concept you find in all the languages or many languages. So that's why C language, Java language, C++, Python, they all follow row major order. Some old languages like Fortran followed column major order. Okay, right. I think row major and column major concept is clear for you. I'll tell you how I can find the address. That is what the next class we will see. How I can find the address of an element in 1D array, in 2D array, both. I'll tell you how to find. Okay, so you are curious to know how to find the address starting with some other index like 0, 1, no. Sometimes we will be given the indexing started from, let's say, -3 for the row and -9 for the column. Then what would be the address of so and so value? Like that we will get the questions you might have seen in the GATE kind of exams or other competitive exams. So if you want to know how to crack that in 10 seconds, you have to attend the next class without fail. The next class would be on Monday. Okay. Now, how I can give input to the 2D array values? Means I would like to give dynamic input at runtime. We know scanf we use, but here please observe I am using nested loop. What I am using? Nested loop means in one loop I am using another loop. Why? The first loop will be always for row purpose. The next loop would be for the column purpose. So please understand, this is the easy method to understand. I am first asking how many rows, how many columns. As compiler will not allow me to leave these subscripts as empty, so I have given for safe side 10 rows, 10 columns. But user can pick 2 rows, 3 columns, 5 rows, 7 columns, up to user. So I am asking the user how many rows and how many columns. So user enter and I am taking that input at runtime through scanf. Now I would like to allow user to give the values for those elements. So how I am doing it? Starting from 0th row till every row, and in that 0th row, 0th column to every column. That means complete row I would like to give the values. And the value should be stored in address of ij. ij. That means if row number is 0, row is I. Suppose I am taking 3 rows, 4 columns. Column is j. So j can be equal to 0 or 1 or 2 or 3. So the first value that is entered should be stored in 0th row, 0th column. Second value, row number should be 0 only, column number should change. Right? Third value, row number should be same, column number should change. Next value, row, same row, but the next column. As I say, 4 columns, numbering start from 0 and end with 3. So from 0 to 3, keeping row number as 0, the computer should accept values. That's why I am writing in the nested loop. So here when I is equal to 0, column value, j value change from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3. Then second row I becomes 1. Second row values are taken. Then third row values. I hope this nested loop concept is clear for everyone. Now printing is also in the same way. Printing is also in the same way. First I have taken the input. This is for the input purpose and this is for the printing purpose. Here once I print one row, here I want to print in the new line. So I have forgot to mention here, I am writing now. We have to include new line character because I want to print it as row wise, matrix wise, no. So after printing the first row values, compiler control should go to next line, new line. So after inner loop, I have to mention print \n. Okay. Let's see its execution. Let us see its execution. I believe the browser is visible for everyone. So I am doing just online C compiler. And here just I copy and paste. And before moving to next row, I want it to be printed in the new line. Right? So let me run. Okay, quotations. All right. Yes. So it is asking enter number of rows and columns. Let's say I am entering 3 rows, 2 columns. So 6 values I am supposed to give. So it is asking first value, let's say 12, second value 23, third value 34, fourth value 45, fifth value 56, sixth value 67. See, I got the output in the matrix form. 3 rows, 2 columns I said. So 12, 23, 34, 45, 56, 67 I got. That is the output. Clear? Now, as 2D array matrix, both are similar. In the matrix, if I want to take 2 matrices, let matrix A and matrix B. Matrix A and matrix B I am taking. I would like to add 2 matrices. Okay. So how I do? I'll take the first value of A matrix and I add with the first value of B matrix. We know if I need to add any 2 matrices, their dimensions should match. So that is the what condition first I verify. If the dimensions are matching, then only I will go for the addition. And how I am adding? 0th row, 0th column value of A matrix should be added to 0th row, 0th column of B matrix. Similarly, 0th row first column of A matrix should be added to 0th row first column of B matrix. That means ith row jth column of A matrix should be added with ith row jth column of B matrix. So what is the logic I can write? If I want the result matrix Ij value, that is A matrix Ij value and B matrix Ij value. So this is for matrix addition. Similarly, suppose I would like to print the reverse of the given matrix. Reverse means, sorry, not reverse. I think I have to use the term transpose. I would like to print the transpose matrix of given matrix. What is a transpose matrix? Suppose I am entering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Suppose this is the given matrix. What would be A transpose? You all know, might have learned in the maths. Rows becomes columns, columns becomes rows, right? So A transpose would be 1, 4, 7, 10, 2, 5, 8, 11, 3, 6, 9, 12. Isn't it? Isn't it, everybody? That means if I say the row number is I, column number as J, please observe here. 0, 1 value, that means 2 is coming where? In the 1, 0 position. 0, 2 position of A coming to 2, 0 position. Similarly, row 2 column 1 value is becoming row 1 column 2 value. That means IJ index coming to JI index. Let's say B is the transpose matrix. Let B is transpose matrix of A. If so, B of IJ is what? A of JI. So in the nested loop, as I have shown two loops for I0 to I less than or I plus plus, J0, J less than C, J plus plus. If I write B of Ij equal to A of Ji, automatically rows turns into columns, columns turns into rows. Isn't it? So how I can develop the logic for matrix addition? I will give you the algorithm. I am leaving this work for you as practice. Okay, first what I do, input R1, C1, R2, C2. That means number of rows of first matrix, number of columns of first matrix, number of rows of second matrix, number of columns of second matrix. Okay. Then check is R1 equal to R2 and C1 equal to C2 or not. Okay, because if this is true, then only you go to step 3, right? Then only you can add. Otherwise, you can print addition not possible. Addition not possible. Because if the dimensions won't match, you may not add. So that's why I am checking. Okay, if dimensions matched, then what you take? Input values of both matrices. Ask the user, enter first matrix values, enter second matrix values, use the nested loops, and you write A of Ij, B of Ij. I have already shown how to input. Just change the names of the matrix, simple. Okay, now what you have to do? You have to write this code in the nested loop. C of ij is equal to A of ij plus B of ij. In the nested loop, you have to do this. And finally, print C matrix. Okay. So keeping these 5 steps as reference, you now go and start coding. Try doing this matrix addition program. Okay. And how I can write program for transpose of a given matrix? Transpose of a given matrix. How I can write? First, let R1 C1 be dimensions of first matrix. So declare them, or dimensions of original matrix. Instead of I say first, let me say dimensions of matrix. R2 C2 be dimensions of transpose matrix. Isn't it? Now declare 2 arrays. Or you need not to create 2 arrays also, dear friends. Just the same, you want to print, simply print the transpose means no need to create 2 array also. So declare an array, enter number of rows and number of columns, then take the values. Now what you have to do? Print transpose. So how you can print the transpose? You have to make R2 is C1, C2 is R1, because number of rows becomes number of columns becomes number of rows. Then you start from I0 to I less than R2, J0 to J less than C2, and print okay. I mean, if you give different dimensions, this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. Okay, while printing. If you want to store the transpose, first you have to write B of ij. Let's say B is the transpose matrix. Then B of ij is equal to A of ji. Okay, store the transpose matrix first, then print separately. Because always it can't be a square matrix. Number of rows, number of columns can't be same. Still you can find the transpose matrix. No, that is the reason why to print I am first converting, assigning C1 to R2, R1 to C2. Okay, so keep this as reference and start coding, try executing. Okay, and if you face any difficulty, you can keep your difficulty in my Telegram group or in the comment section. Okay, that's all for today, dear friends. And in the next class, that is on Monday, we will see how we can find the address of any element in 1D array as well as 2D arrays. Okay, I hope this session helped you in understanding about 2D array declaration, initialization, input and output 2D elements. Wish you all happy coding, keep learning, keep growing, dear friends. These are my Telegram and Instagram group links through which you can connect with me for PDFs or doubts. If you have not joined, please do join and keep liking and sharing the session. Also subscribe to our BEP YouTube channel and enable the notifications. Thank you so much. See you on Monday sharp at 9 p.m. with next concept. Till then, have a happy weekend. Have a great time. Take care. Good night, everybody. Bye-bye. Thank you.